Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Happy Tuesday. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're back with another expansion franchise episode with our Quebec Nordiques, and today we are going to be taking on the Ottawa Senators, who are 7-18-2. They're not that good. So if you guys have these kinds of videos, I'm really like to subscribe with the notification bell. Hit me up on Snapchat and my socials in my bio. So let's get into this. All right. So today, like I said, we're going to be taking on the Ottawa Senators. Tomorrow, we're going to be taking on the what are they? The Edmonton Oilers. Good lord. We're in 85 and we're all there in 86, so this might be a tough game. Might be a tough matchup. Today we're gonna hope and pray that we can finish up our first round against the Winnipeg Jets. But yeah, so I was watching some yeah, we did. So I started the I was
through the neutral zone, controlling the play. Strike that one at center ice. With a shot.
I do have stuff I want to talk about here. Since the season starts on Thursday, go ahead, awkward. Anyway, I want to talk about a few teams here that are. I want to talk about a few teams. I want to talk about the teams a little more in depth. Obviously, the MLB teams and MLB teams in Discord. Okay, so since I haven't really done that much, so the Yankees, obviously. I mean, you have Stroman. What am I missing? Fried, Stroman, Will Wagner, Brubaker, Devin Williams, Bellinger, Judge, Stanton. They added Paul Goldschmidt this offseason. They have Josh Chisholm, who's going to probably be behind. They're probably going to be behind. They're probably going to bat in front of, if not behind, Aaron Judge. And those guys. And that. Obviously they added Devin Williams this offseason. Good offseason for that. Good offseason for the Yankees. I don't know if obviously the Garrett Cole injury is probably going to hurt them a lot, literally. Because he's out for the season. Obviously, they're still probably going to be good. They're probably still going to be competing for the NL or the AL West. But they have a couple other teams. There'll be a couple other teams in there that are probably going to try and win the division, like the Red Sox, who I can talk about here in a sec. You have the Orioles, who are going to be good. Obviously, they lost, not for the year, but for now. I don't know how long he's going to be out for. Is Grayson Rodriguez. They have Cade Povich might start the year. In their rotation, they added Tomoyuki Sugano. They added Charlie Morton, 40-some-year-old Charlie Morton. They added a lot of decent pieces in the pitching, but obviously they have Felix Bautista, who I trust. That rotation. They'll get Grayson Rodriguez back at some point this year. They lost John Means for a year due to the Guardians. What else? But yeah, I think that they obviously have like Holiday, Henderson, Cowser, Kerstad, Mountcastle, O'Neill. They'll probably add the Russian. They'll probably bring up Samuel Basayo at some point this year. They'll probably bring up some more of that young talent they have in the minors that is really going to be good. They scored. Oh my God, it's 3-0. But yeah, so they have a lot of decent pieces on that squad. A lot of good pieces in that team. I'm sorry, but yeah. Anyway, and then you have the Rays, who they have McClanahan will be back. Pepio's awesome. McClanahan's awesome. Pepio's awesome. They have Junior Caminero, who looks good. Yandy Diaz, who's a goon. Who else? Brandon Lau, Josh Lau. I mean, obviously, the one thing that I take into effect with the Rays is that they won't. The 162 games will be outside. They won't be at the Trop at all this year. But yeah, because that got destroyed in the hurricane this offseason. They're in their offseason. What else? The Blue Jays obviously. They have Vladdy, Bichette, Vlad Guerrero, Bichette. What else? Santander they added this offseason. Their rotation, we don't know. It's Gosman and Bassett. A lot of veteran aces like Bassett, Gosman. A lot of veterans on that team. Scherzer they added. We don't know what Scherzer's going to be like. Who else? 3-0. We're losing. We need to come back in the second and third. What else am I missing? Yeah. Not Yanni Ercano. What's his name? Yario Rodriguez. Could be. We don't know what he's gonna look like this year. Full pitch. Bowden Francis. Could he be good this year? Or he'd be like. But yeah. That's pretty much it on them. And then the Red Sox, obviously, they added Bregman, Crochet, a lot of decent pieces on that team. Or in that lineup, they have Christian Campbell, who I'm high on. They'll have Marcelo Meyer up at some point. They'll have Roman Anthony up at some point. Yeah, they just have a lot of good pieces up, I believe, at some point. They'll have a lot of good pieces up. A lot of good teams. They have a lot of young talent. But yeah. And then 17 to 7. And then in the AL Central, you have the White Sox, who they just are bad. They have Schonberg. They have a couple pieces on that. They have a couple pieces. They just have a lot of Colson Montgomery should be on the opening day roster. Who else? Schomburg, he could be good this year. I don't know what he's gonna look like. Who else? Martin. They brought in a couple veterans. They still have Luis Robert. Who they might trade to the deadline and they might flip the deadline for. Prospects and just even get worse, pretty much. But that's about it. I mean, they're just not that good of a team. Obviously, then you have the Twins, who they have Royce Lewis, Byron Buxton, Carlos Correa, and they scored 4-0. What else? That's about it on them. Obviously, they have Lopez, who's good. Lopez, Joe Ryan, Johan Duran. They have a lot of good SWR. They have a lot of good pieces on that team. They just need to get onto the. They just need Royce Lewis, Carlos Correa, them to stay healthy. And if those guys aren't healthy, they're not going to have a good year. They'll be like they were last year. I don't know why we can't score today, guys. What the heck? Oh, that's a penalty. Yep, there it is. Finally. We're going to get right back into it. It is 4-0, unfortunately. I'm getting hammered by the... What else? But yeah, that's the Twins for you. The Guardians, they have Stephen Kwan, who I'm excited for. They have Classe. They have a lot of they have a lot of good pieces there. Obviously still have J-Ram, Squan. They brought in Santana after they traded neither this offseason to the Diamondbacks. And they had a good offseason. I think they had a good offseason, the Guardians, but I still think they're going to be good. Now, if they have a lead from the 7th inning on, they're not going to lose it. Because obviously they're winning games with that bullpen. Then you'll have that bullpen. That bullpen is good up to even Class 8. They even have a minimal Class 8 as a cube. Why can't I get a puck in the net? Oh my freaking god. It's going to be one of those daggone games where I get heated. I'm going to get heated. Wait. The Royals, obviously, they have Bobby Witt, Cole Reagan, who could be a Cy Young this year, Seth Lugo. There it is, finally. 4-1. Obviously, you have Cole Reagan, Seth Lugo, who's going to be good, Michael Walker. I just don't not really that high on the Royals this year. Obviously, they're just probably going to prove that last year was a fluke. Of a fluke year, and they were good last year. But yeah, then the Tigers, obviously, you have. There we go. We have Glaber. They have Glaber. They have Riley Green, Henry Carpenter. They have all kinds of really good pieces on that end. What else? But yeah, and then they added Jack Flaherty, sorry. They have Jackson Jobe, Tariq Skubal, Mize, Manning will be back. Casey Mize, Matt Manning will be pitching again this year, hopefully. Jackson Jobe, who I just mentioned. They added Tom. They have a lot of good. I think they have a lot of young good pieces. They still have Javier Baez, which sucks. They should get rid of. They should try and get rid of that contract. It's probably one of the worst contracts in sports history. Royals, Twins, Tigers, Guardians, Red Sox area. And then in the AL West, you have the Athletics, who I'm not calling them the Oakland Athletics because they're not in Oakland anymore, which sucks. There it is, 4-3. You know, the Athletics, who they added Jeffrey Springs to be Severino. They have Lawrence Butler, Brent Rooker. What else? Or as Jim called him, Brent Booker. He called him Booker. And we're tied. Lawrence Butler, Rooker, Jacob Wilson. Other pieces there. Mason Miller is disgusting. He throws like 103 miles an hour. But yeah, pretty much it on them. The Astros, they have Pena, Jordan, Walker. They brought in. Cam Smith might be in the opening day roster. Might make the opening day roster. Not Albies. Altuve. They have Framber. McCullers will be back. Ronald Blanco, Spencer Arcadetti, Hunter Brown. Josh Hader in that bullpen is disgusting. Blake Taylor, so many other guys there. I like the addition of Christian Walker just because of the fact that they needed a first baseman and they were rocking John Singleton every freaking day after they let Jose Abreu go. Early last year, I believe. But that's pretty much it on them. And then you have the Angels who are going to suck. The only way, I mean, they have Kikuchi, Detmers. They added Ian Anderson on in a trade via the Braves for, I don't even know what the Braves were doing there. The Braves and the Angels were doing. They have Slayer. They might trade. I hope they trade Kevin Ward. What else? That's pretty much it. Mike Trout still. If Mike Trout can stay healthy, they're gonna have a decent season, and they probably won't be in last. The Rangers obviously. All right, the Rangers obviously they have Simeon, Cedar, Garcia, Langford, who could be good. Who else do they have in that rotation? That lineup. Langford, Evan Carter, Adolis Garcia. They brought in Jake Berger this offseason. Decent addition for them. I like that addition for them. Jock Peterson, Jake Berger. They still have DeGrom. They have John Gray. I think they have a decent rotation. It's just that they need better. I'm not saying they're going to be good. They just had all that struggles last year with injuries. Tyler Malley, who could be good. That bullpen is questionable. There's questions like outside of Robert Garcia and someone else. They just need some depth. They're not depth. Chris Martin, I believe, and Robert Garcia, and that's about it. But other than that, I don't know. I'm thinking that bullpen might be good. I hope. And then you have the Mariners, who they have probably one of the best rotations, probably one of the top 5. I'm going to say top 5 rotations in baseball. In Miller, Castillo, Wu, Hancock, Kirby. The list goes on and on there. That bullpen is decent. Andres Munoz is a good closer for them. The Athletics have Jose Leclerc too, as like a setup guy. But that's it on the American League. And now on the NL, I'm gonna start in the East. You have the Marlins who are just gonna suck. I think they're gonna trade everybody away. Trade anybody away? Maybe trade Sandy at the deadline for to get worse and not start that rebuild, but continue it. And obviously, I mean, they have Edward Cabrera who could be good. They have Yuri Perez. They have pitching depth for years. They have pitching forever. Edward Cabrera, Yuri Perez, and I'm missing a couple guys just to name a few there. Max Meyer, Noble Meyer, I believe. I have to look at their prospect, that roster, but it's pretty garbage. I mean, Connor Norby, Xavier Edwards, but that's about it. But yeah, 6-4 us. And then you have the Nationals who 28. Hold on. Then you have 28-16. And then you have the Nationals who are good. Who could be good. You have Dylan Cruz who could be good. CJ Abrams is good as long as he's not at the casino until 8 o'clock in the morning. That's why you got 10 down. Who else? James Wood, Dylan Cruz. You'll probably see a lot more of that young talent up. Mackenzie Gore could be good. Josiah Gray. They brought in Josh Bell. They brought in who else? That's Nate Lau from the Rangers. That was a good addition. But yeah, pretty much the Nationals don't have much to say. Bada boom. Mets, obviously, they have Soto, Alonso, Nimmo, Beatty. They'll have Francisco Alvarez at some point back. Luis Angel Acuna, Jeff McNeil, when he gets back and he's healthy and he's good. Other than that, I think that team is loaded. Jesse Winker. Hold on, guys, I'm sweating. I haven't put my switcher on for a smidge until I was sweating. Who else? Then you have the Braves who have Wiley, Olsen, Arcia. Acuna will be back at some point. Harris, Strider will be back at some point. They have Grant Holmes. They have a Rosal Iglesias, who's a disgusting closer. Who's disgusting. The Braves are just disgusting. They have that voodoo magic. The Braves have this weird voodoo magic that just like turns everybody good. I don't know what it is, but obviously also I don't know what it is when I don't like when the Pirates play the Braves either. And then obviously the last team in that East is the Phillies, and they have Nola Wheeler. I think I combined Nola and Wheeler and said Wheeler. What? And what's that? They have Nola Wheeler. Well, Christopher Sanchez, who's good. Ranger Suarez could be good. They added Jesus Luzardo this offseason via that trade from the Marlins. I think they could have a good season. I think they're like the best team in that second. I mean, they're probably the second best team. I'm probably gonna have them. I don't have them winning the division, I don't think, in my predictions. Yes, I do. 96 and 66. But yeah. What else? And then obviously in the Central we have, let's go to the NL Central now. Actually, let's go to the NL West. You have the Rockies, who could be good. They're not good. They're just not going to be that good. Their pitching is dog water. The hitting is good. They have Marquez, Senzatella, Freeland will be back. All three of those guys should be back. Gomber, they added, I believe, no, they didn't. They lost him. I'm trying to think. They added a lot of guys there. They're not added. They have like Zach Veen could be up this year at some point. Who knows? We'll see what's going on with those teams. We'll see what goes on with those teams, with that team. And then you have the Giants, who they have Matt Chapman. They added Justin Verlander. They added Willie Adames. Really good add there. They had a shortstop that they needed. They needed a shortstop because I don't remember who their shortstop was. Patrick Bailey, I believe, is their catcher. I forget who their catcher is. I don't think the Giants will be good. And then you have the Padres, who they have Cease, Darvish, Darvish. 8-5. You have Cease, Darvish. They added Nick Pivetta, really 4 years, like $656 million there. What else? There's a lot. They have a lot, and then you have Machado, Tatis, Cronenworth, Arise, Bogarts, who sucks. Who else? I'm trying to think. Jackson Merrill, who's a goon. Who could be a goon. So many guys on that roster. I don't know if their rotation is going to be, or I don't know. We'll see how they do. They might fill up pieces if they start sucking. And then you have the Diamondbacks, who they have Naylor, Corbin Carroll could be good. Ketel Marte, who's always disgusting. Have a decent team there. They added Corbin Burns this offseason. They lost Christian Walker, but they replaced him with Josh Naylor, is really stinking good. He'll be fine. Trying to think. Geraldo Perdomo. They might have Jordan Waller up at some point. I mean, that team goes on. That list goes on and on of players that they have. And then obviously the team that I haven't talked about yet in that division is the Los Angeles Dodgers. They have Teoscar Hernandez, Ohtani, Freeman, Muncy, who else? Outman, Rojas, Betts. They added Lucas Sasaki this offseason. Probably one of my favorite signings by them. Yashiba Yamamoto, Bobby Miller. Even though as much as I hate the Dodgers, not because they're not ruining baseball, I think it's so good for baseball that they're like spending a crap ton of money. It's just them as a team. I hate it makes me hate them. I guess as a team. But they do have some players that I like Ohtani. I shouldn't say I hate as much. I shouldn't say I hate the Dodgers. It's just I strongly dislike them. But I mean, I shouldn't. Yeah, but I don't. They have Tanner. They have both. They have a pretty Evan Phillips, Tanner Scott. I'm trying to think. That team is just filthy good. That team is literally just. They're probably the best team in baseball. Um, but yeah, and then now you have the Phillies, not Phillies, and now the NL Central. Now I can talk about the NL Central. But let me get a drink of coffee here. Now in the NL Central, we have the Cardinals who might sell off like Arenado. Helsley will be gone by the deadline, if not at the deadline. Maybe in June if they're Sonny Gray who might be gone. They have Wilson Contreras who's going to be playing first. What else? They just have so many. That team is just they suck, but they also don't. I think once Heimblum takes over John Mozeliak's position, that team will be good again at some point. The Cubs are good. They added Tucker. They added Presley. They have Ian Happ. They have a lot of young pieces. Just so many pieces on that Cubs. The Brewers, they did lose Devin Williams, 19-38. They did lose Devin Williams and lost Willie Thomas, but that's okay. They saw Peralta, Woodruff, Tobias Myers will be back at some point. I'm sorry, Woodruff will be back at some point. Tobias Myers will be back at some point. That team's just good. They're just a good round team. I don't know if I think they might win the division. And then you have the Reds. You have Ellie Noelvi Marte, Ellie De La Cruz, Noelvi Marte. They added Terry Francona this offseason. Just so many other guys there. And then you have the Pirates with Skeens, Jones, and Keller, which if the Pirates make the playoffs and you're in a position where, hey, you do not want to face the Pirates have a good three-headed monster in that point. And like I said, Skeens, Jones, and Keller. Bednar, they have Kutch, they have Frazier, Pham. I wish they would have added more on the hitting side, but they didn't, obviously. But we'll see how they are. They're usually hot and they fall off. They did add Tommy Pham. Jack Lewinsky, they have Cruz, who could be good. IKF, Nick G. Oh my god, that team is. Oh my god. Anyway, but that'll do it for me on this one. If you guys like these kinds of videos, remember, leave a like, subscribe, that notification bell, hit me up on Snapchat, add my socials in my bio, and I will see you guys all tomorrow free at another video. Stream, sorry. Peace.